Usopp is watching this and thinking to himself, damn, even Nami can fight giants now? I gotta get this long nose out of my butt and onto the battlefield. To be completely fair, Usopp had a great moment in this chapter as well. His Skull Bomb grasp was colossal, on an even bigger scale than Nami's Thunder, actually. It just, it didn't really do anything. But this was a very strong Nami chapter, because there was also that moment where
I'm Lava, the developer of Eidolon. I made this game for all my fellow idle game enjoyers.
So that moment where she instantly memorized the map of Legoland and just threw it away, which I appreciated because Nami's dream feels like it's gotten a bit lost over time. We almost never focus on drawing maps or even Nami's skill with reading and absorbing maps, so this was one of those moments where we see a childhood of slaving over making thousands of maps for Arlong coming back to help us. And also I should mention that Road is the navigator of the new Giant Warrior Pirates. So what we have in this chapter is a very rare navigator v navigator matchup. And in the end, I think Luffy's judgment of the situation tells me that this is probably just going to be taken as a fun little side quest. Road, he's a strange man, but whatever. Because as odd as he comes off, Luffy doesn't seem overly concerned with anything that's happening here, and he even had that moment of asking Iscat to be more careful about not destroying the diorama, because he could see that Road had put a lot of work into it. More importantly, we finally have an explanation for that Gear 4th error, which is no longer an error, it was intentional. It would appear that Luffy has evolved once more and that he can now use Gear 4th techniques in select parts of his body without having to assume the full form, which I have to admit looked pretty damn cool in the way that he used it in this chapter. The only thing I feel is a bit of a shame is that with this power, there's now never really any reason to use Gear 3rd again. It's a completely defunct gear now, because Gear 4th can do everything it can, just better and at seemingly no cost. But then again, I do really appreciate the idea of evolution, and the concept of, yeah, it's okay to retire techniques, especially over such a long-running series, because this is a thought I have every time Goku uses a Kamehameha again, because it's like, mate, you've been using the same attack for almost genuinely half a century now, and it hasn't scaled very well. Use other things, you got other things. And with Luffy, this all goes back to his general idea of freedom. After accessing Gear 5th, his Devil Fruit has awakened, and I like that we're seeing that trickle down to the fruit as a whole rather than just Gear 5th. Luffy now has more freedom than ever before with all of his attacks. He's becoming more efficient, more versatile, and he's having the time of his life whilst doing it. And at the end of this chapter, we have Luffy using his little Gear 4th to bust through a wall designed to hold giants, so that's pretty cool. And I think it's Usopp who's praying and says, please be Elbaf from the outside, which I think very much encapsulates the voices of the fans at the moment. What we're doing here, it's fun and all, and I have no doubt that these chapters are going to be great to blast through in a volume format, but I really am getting that Elbaf itch, and with a kind of meh reveal of who the false sun god actually is, the amount of time that I want to keep spending in the diorama world is pretty much zero, so here's hoping that our adventure will begin in earnest next week. And thanks so much again to Sea of Conquest for sponsoring this video and allowing us to bring you the best fictional pirate content possible as often as possible. Definitely check them out through the link in the description.
That's crazy. Looking like hands like,